They enable the sales team and organizations to help close their lead quickly, help them to shorten the lead time for lead closure. They also help them to revive dormant accounts that have not been engaging with the brand for the while. So the main role of growth marketers in a firm is to work basically hand in hand with sales, understand the problems, where are they facing issues, and enable them to be able to pursue those accounts efficiently and win those accounts. The things like ABM I talked about a little bit, touched upon earlier, pursuit marketing, all forms of growth marketing in B2B. So they cater to entire buying committee. So here the role of growth marketing, especially if we talk about ABM, they are able to cater to the in B2B. The biggest difference in running growth marketing for B2B versus B2C is that in the number of decision makers that we're catering to. So in B2B, you are the number of decision makers are quite high. It's a cohort based decision making that happens. So usually I remember a data point that somebody was referring to, that there were over 11 decision makers in a company that help make that B2B buying decision, including the C-suite in most organizations. So that is the biggest difference. So here, so the B2B marketing or B2B sales is very complex. So growth marketing plays a big role in enabling and closing those leads for sales team.
Yeah, so that is what I've also heard, and it is great that you put it in context. What we used to refer to marketing traditionally as getting the lead, basically top of the funnel, that these are 50 people who may be interested in this, and then you just push it on to sales and go after this. This now growth as an aspect, what it does is caters to the complete funnel. So you're doing something for top of the funnel, you're doing something for middle of the funnel, something for helping accounts that are already with you, then increasing revenue. They are today giving you $100, how can we turn out $150 next year? Things like that. And that is the clear description of what you just said, and which again guides me into my next question, into the levers for growth, because we've spoken a lot about what growth is and how we can do it. There are certain levers, and there are some levers that work for some organizations. There are some others that work for others. So, what are the biggest levers of growth that you see? And alternately, does the lever for growth also depend on which part of funnel you are catering to, or is it it does not matter which part of the funnel is a prospect is? Welcome to Ads and Tales, the podcast where we explore tales from the world of B2B ads. This is your host Sid, and I will bring you the insights, experiences, and strategies from those who have been in the trenches to help you excel in your marketing efforts. So sit back, relax, and join us for some great tales from the world of B2B ads. This is Ads and Tales. I am back, and as usual, I'm not alone. It took a while for me to come back this time, so I had to ensure that there's someone special I bring on as guest for this latest episode of Ads and Tales. And Abhilasha was finally kind enough to accept this invite and come over for the latest episode on Ads and Tales. Welcome, Abhilasha, and thank you for joining in.
Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you. It's my pleasure. I know it's taken a while, but I'm glad to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me.
We'll make sure it is worth it. And for all of us listening, Abhilasha has been leading growth for Aon for quite a few years now. Started with India and now managing Asia as a geography. So probably the best person to talk growth, and that is why we are focusing on growth on this episode of Ads and Tales. Let's dive right into where Abhilasha started from, which was textiles and fashion, and from there on did an MBA and then came into the world of B2B marketing, which is exactly opposite to fashion, as unglamorous as it can be. Why did this happen, and how did this happen, and was it for good? You have to tell us that first.
Yeah, sure. I think Yeah, the journey that I've taken in my career, the pivot that I've taken, it was by design. I was very conscious of the pivot that I wanted to make. Somehow I know fashion and textiles, especially fashion, looks very glamorous, and that is why I think what attracted me also into the field as a 17, 18-year-old when I entered NIFT Bangalore. But I think after working in the industry for 8-9 years, I somehow, I felt I thought I could explore more something else out of this industry, and I felt I had started to stagnate as well, and I wanted to take a conscious decision on what I wanted to do next, and that's when I decided to actually go for my full-time MBA. And when I was in my MBA, that's when I got really attracted to marketing. I took up all marketing subjects that I could, take as an elective, whether it was B2C marketing, B2B marketing, neuro marketing, social media marketing, all the subjects related to marketing. And I was fortunate enough to actually get a job also in marketing at Aon. Yeah, so that's how the pivot happened.
Quite a journey. And because I was talking about being this unglamorous side of marketing, the B2B side, but lately it has gained a lot of steam. That has been my observation from being in the industry as well. It wasn't so 5 years back when we were doing the unglamorous things together back at Aon. But today, a lot of people talk about it. A lot of people want to learn about it and are interested in it. Have you also seen this kind of a shift? And if yes, why do you feel has this shift happened from B2B being the unglamorous kid to be sort of accepted in the world of marketing?
Yeah, I think so. I think, B2B marketing is gaining a lot more traction nowadays, which is, of course, very good news for B2B marketers here. I think because now, a lot of people say that, it's not B2B or B2C marketing, it's actually human to human marketing. Basically, we are eventually marketing to humans. So I think everybody is trying to understand that and trying to implement, that basic foundation in whether it's B2B marketing campaigns or B2C marketing campaigns. So we see now that even B2B marketing campaigns are getting a lot more creative, a lot more entertaining. A lot of brands are experimenting, especially I've seen brands that especially caters to marketers like us, whether it's Salesforce or maybe Workday came out recently with a very, very creative and entertaining campaign. So I think B2B marketing also, that perception is changing, that, it is no longer a boring domain, and B2C supposed to be the fun marketing and B2B supposed to be the boring marketing, but it's not like that anymore. That is changing. And apart from that, I think B2B marketing is also gaining a lot of traction within organizations. There's a lot of emphasis on marketing in the company. B2B marketers are getting seat on the table because, the ROI on B2B marketing campaigns is also much, much higher. It's much bigger. Although the sales cycles are longer, but the payoff is also much bigger. So I think that is also helping B2B marketers. And I also feel like I might be wrong, but B2B marketing, B2C marketing is also digital led, especially for a lot of startups, a lot of B2C brands that are coming up. And so there's a lot of focus on digital marketing on the B2C side, and maybe not all B2C marketers or marketers in general, not everybody wants to be in digital. So, I think that may also be an aspect because, B2B marketing also caters to a lot of other aspects ABM marketing or, a lot of PR-based marketing, events marketing. So, I think that could be one reason as well. That would be my hypothesis.
Now, since you've done a lovely break-in into what I wanted to go into next, which was basically growth, and you've already given me the pillars, and therefore I will dive into it. You seem to be the best person to talk about growth because you are actually doing it day in and day out, not only for India but larger Asia as a geography as well. My perception is not a lot of people, even marketers, understand what growth actually is. It is a term that is thrown around very loosely, and therefore I want to push it on to you to tell us what exactly is growth marketing, especially in the B2B context. B2C context, a lot of e-commerce happens, and therefore growth marketing is doing 100 rupees today and 150 tomorrow and 250 the day after. It is a little different in B2B, as much as we want to say that both are siblings. I'll leave it to you. What is growth marketing actually, and how it is shaping up for the B2B world?
Sure. So in B2B marketing, I think, as I stated earlier, like because of this growth marketing or this invention of this growth marketing role that has happened recently only, I think in the past 3-4 years, it has gained a lot of traction. But now, because of growth marketing, I think marketers finally have a seat on the table, and they are part of like strategic business conversations that are happening, and they are able to lead the way for sales team to drive business growth. So, growth marketers actually work hand in hand with the sales team to drive business growth. They enable the sales team and organizations to help close their lead quickly, help them to shorten the lead time for lead closure. They also help them to revive dormant accounts that have not been engaging with the brand for a while. So the main role of growth marketers in a firm is to work basically hand in hand with sales, understand the problems, where are they facing issues, and enable them to be able to pursue those accounts efficiently and win those accounts. The things like ABM I talked about a little bit, touched upon earlier, pursuit marketing, on all forms of growth marketing in B2B. So they cater to entire buying committee. So here the role of growth marketing, especially if we talk about ABM, they are able to cater to the in B2B. The biggest difference in running growth marketing for B2B versus B2C is that in the number of decision makers that you're catering to. So in B2B, you are the number of decision makers are quite high. It's a cohort based decision making that happens. So usually I remember a data point that somebody was referring to, that there were over 11 decision makers in a company that help make that B2B buying decision, including the C-suite in most organizations. So that is the biggest difference. So here, so the B2B marketing or B2B sales is very complex. So growth marketing plays a big role in enabling and closing those leads for sales team.
Yeah, so that is what I've also heard, and it is great that you put it in context. What we used to refer to marketing traditionally as getting the lead, basically top of the funnel, that these are 50 people who may be interested in this, and then we just push it on to sales. This now growth as an aspect, what it does is caters to the complete funnel. So you're doing something for top of the funnel, you're doing something for middle of the funnel, something for helping accounts that are already with you, then increasing revenue. They are today giving you $100. How can we churn out $150 next year? Things like that. And that is the clear description of what you've just said, and which again guides me into my next question, into the levers for growth, because we've spoken a lot about what growth is and how we can do it. There are certain levers, and there are some levers that work for some organizations. There are others that work for others. So, what are the biggest levers of growth that you see? And alternately, does the lever for growth also depend on which part of funnel you are catering to, or is it does not matter which part of the funnel is a prospect is?
Yeah, so it does definitely depend on which part of the funnel you are catering to. There might be some overlaps that might happen between awareness, engagement, and bottom of the funnel where the lead is almost ready to buy. So there might be some overlaps, but overall I think you have to, especially between top of the funnel, middle, bottom of the funnel, there will be some key tactics which you will implement only for top of the funnel, some only for middle of the funnel, and some only for bottom of the funnel. So I think some of the top of the funnel strategies that are very popular in B2B, and which we also as B2B marketers we often use, is definitely one is PR, that is quite popular. So organic PR definitely helps you build that reputation, brand reputation, and helps you get that share of voice in leading media publications. So overall, like if you are regularly appearing in the media, you like the brand name is appearing in the media, your thought leaders, your brand leaders are appearing in the media, it helps to drive that awareness about the brand. The other, of course, like you can't do without social media or digital marketing. So those are other channels that can be used. The kind of content you will push for top of the funnel through social media channels might be different. Like you would maybe want to push a guidebook or your latest study that you would want to promote amongst your target audience, and that is also another way of getting top of the funnel, like making more people aware about your brand. Then one of the other strategies that we also often use is like sponsoring other events where your target audience is present. So sponsorships also help you get a lot of top of the funnel leads, where like first time maybe few people would be hearing about your brand name. Setting up a booth at these sponsored events helps to drive in some traffic and get some awareness about your products and solutions that you're offering. So that is another one. And then SEO, of course, like if there's a need, people generally go on Google to search for that product solution or their product statement, and appearing on top of the page definitely helps to drive some awareness about your brand.
Perfect. So you covered most of it. I just want to push in one aspect that I have seen you guys do really well, and that is webinars, because not a lot of organizations are able to leverage webinars, whether it is format wise, whether it is promotion wise, whether it is people coming over and listening to you from that point of view as well. How do you get webinars into the mix when you are making your GTM, and which part of the funnel you feel webinars make a difference to most often? So a little bit about webinars, I will leave it to you.
Yeah, sure. So webinars mainly, and webinars events mainly for middle of the funnel, where we are trying to engage with the audience and win their trust, basically. So they are a good way to, educate target audience about our new product solutions, any updates to existing platform, existing solution that happens. So there's a lot of two-way communication also that happens in a webinar, so which eventually helps to build that trust and reputation about the brand and pushes these people lower down the funnel. So I think webinars are a good engagement tool, very, very easy to set up, easy for the audience also to access. Webinars, help us engage, help us to engage with the target audience very well, and the and also sometimes also help us to generate good quality leads as well for a particular product solution. It just provides a good reach. We can cater to pan India. Anytime, even sometimes also globally, audiences like APAC, we can reach out to at one by one. And then it's also very inexpensive to host. So I think webinars, I don't see them going away because I think they're very easy to set up, and in the ROI, they deliver on their ROI as well.
And I've seen you guys use webinars even post the webinar recording, which not a lot of organizations do. That once the webinar is done, they just put it up somewhere in the server and forget about it. But if you will push it out on social media or send it across as emails to people who have not attended, probably registered and not attended. That way, those webinars still become useful even if someone has not seen them live. So that was a very good way that I've seen you guys do it.
Yeah, I think both webinars and events, I think, help you generate so much content. So insights from webinars can be posted as social media posts. They can be posted somewhere. The recording can be hosted somewhere, and you can send out emails directing people to that recording if they want to refer it at a later stage. Same goes for events also. Events help produce so much of content, and you can also actually leverage them for PR activities later on, and definitely lead generation. So again, it is said that, we need like 25 to 30 touch points with our lead to finally get them down to, the bottom of the funnel.
Correct.
So, webinars act as a great tool to, generate those touch points, multiple touch points with the target audience.
Yes, perfect. That is, and I'm glad you put it across, because I know a few people who just run away from a webinar. One, because it takes a lot of preparation, at least content. Two, because sale to kuch nahi aaya ji. I heard that also, but it takes time. And therefore, you put it
Especially for leaders who are doing the webinar, it's also a great way for them to build their own brand. I don't think anybody will say that, after doing the webinar, they will at least get 10 to 15 requests on LinkedIn.
Correct.
Connection requests on LinkedIn, and that itself is an achievement. Maybe it will convert them, or maybe, at least it's helping you position your personal brand. You will eventually maybe get some inbound leads through that webinar. So these are some of, sometimes you're not able to actually attribute all these leads that come in directly to these salespeople as well. But yeah, webinars are a great tool. I don't think even salespeople can deny that.
Yes. Finally, sales and marketing agree on something. Okay. From middle of the funnel, I'll move one step above, talking about top of the funnel. Now, the 100 activities that a lot of organizations do as far as top of the funnel is concerned, right from social media, email, sometimes webinars I use as top of funnel activity, which drives me crazy, but yes, it happens. But what are your go-to top of the funnel tips that you recommend, that you use, that you feel that mostly work as far as top of the funnel is concerned?
So I will take this question from a perspective of, again, performance marketer / growth marketer. So I would say, social media channels, especially LinkedIn, paid, and I'll talk, because as a performance marketer, I will talk mainly about paid stuff that we do. So LinkedIn awareness campaigns work really well. I think to generate interest, top of the funnel. And then they're like sponsored events. They do a good job. Definitely helps you add a lot of email IDs to your database for email marketing campaigns. Other ones Facebook and Google could be also good tools. We don't use them very often, but yeah, it depends on, of course, what your budget also allows. But definitely. Facebook and Google can act as really good tools for increasing awareness as well. Google SEM campaigns could work very well if your SEO is not very strong. SEM campaigns could work very well to drive traffic to a particular web page if you're trying to promote a particular product solution. Bidding on those keywords related to that web page can work very well for awareness.
Got it. And we were talking a little broader. I want to move to a very comparatively narrower aspect called ABM, since we mentioned it 2-3 times. It's good. It's good that we touch upon it as well. So I have seen organizations use ABM sometimes as a growth tactic and sometimes as a content only tactic, pushing out different types of content, and eventually something or the other happens. In your experience with ABM and in your recommendation also, how do you see it, and how do you see ABM first of all, and then do you see it as a growth tactic, and where do you see it going?
So ABM actually can be complex to implement in organizations. So if you're not very, very far ahead in your growth marketing or your personalization journey with your marketing stack, etc., is not up to date, it will be very difficult to implement ABM, eco ABM strategy. But yeah, for me as a growth marketer, it is definitely used as a growth tool. Content definitely will always be the foundation for any ABM activity also. But ABM going forward, I feel will be very, very, very important for any organization that is into B2B sales, B2B marketing, because like B2C, again, personalization is important to win key accounts in B2B as well. So ABM helps you do that. If you are able to, like, obviously there are three categories in ABM as well, like, one to many and one to few and one to one. But there's certain aspects of personalization that you need to be ready for in each of these categories within ABM. Obviously, one to one becomes hyper personalized, and this should only be implemented once you are very, very comfortable with one to few and one to many. If you face the one to many and one to few, then you should think about doing one-on-one, which is also called kind of pursuit marketing in B2B. So here again, like, you have to get insights about your clients. So here again, you have to work very closely in hand with your sales team, understanding from them what are the key accounts that they want to go after, what are the key insights about their account. You can also get some market intelligence about these accounts to be able to drive very customized messaging. You need to create those customized messages that will need to be promoted to these accounts. And the channels you can decide, obviously, through emails, through your social media, LinkedIn marketing, whatever. Like, you can set up personalized web pages for these accounts. So it's quite complex and quite resource intensive. It's not easy to implement, but if an organization can move with that direction, it will definitely yield that ROI, like, for the resource investment that has been done for ABM.
Yeah, my experience usually with ABM is marketeers understand it, the marketing team and people in and around marketing usually understand it. What happens on the business side is we've been doing this, but what is the result? Because it is incremental in nature. Sometimes one person will like your post, then share your post, then download some kind of content, then probably attend a webinar, then talk to a salesperson, and then the deal may or may not happen. Everything is tied in, but initial first two steps happen. We like it. When I say we, I mean the marketers like it, and they see that there is progress. But on the business side, they feel that there is no conversation. So that is where convincing becomes a little tricky.
Yeah.
That has been my experience.
You need to get that buy-in, and you need to you need to persuade your business leaders that it will need that ROI, and we need to be patient with it. We need to just get them convince them of the results that will eventually happen. So because the deal size also here that we're catering to is much higher. So once you get that large deal size in, I think then everybody will see the benefit and the ROI.
The confidence creeps in after that. Okay. Moving to the last leg of the podcast now, and I want to talk about. We've talked about the present, what all is going on. I just want to move a step into future. Since you are doing growth today, where do you see, especially B2B side of growth marketing, going the next 3 to 4 years from where we are today? Obviously, it is. This podcast will not be complete unless we speak of ChatGPT or what they can do and what they cannot do. But where are we headed in the next 3-4 years? What do you see definitely happening, and what do you see may or may not happen?
So definitely, I think digital definitely will become bigger. If B2B marketing, if there's X budget assigned, I think 50% of that budget will start going into digital channels for sure. If I think it's currently maybe at 25-30%. Maybe for companies that are a little bit more advanced with the marketing stack, etc., it's already almost crossed 50% of the budget allocation also. But I think that will definitely grow the digital side of B2B marketing, your investments on digital channels. That I think it is the right direction for companies also to take. Then the other part which may or may not happen, but I am hopeful that it should happen, is with the help of AI, like we're talking about. It can help, AI can help us improve the lead quality and quantity and minimize the junk leads for us. I think some of the platforms are coming up which are talking about, especially on the B2C side. I've not seen anything really on the B2B side yet where they are promising to minimize or almost remove junk leads that will come in. So that will be like a really big win if that happens. I know platforms like Meta, LinkedIn, all of them are investing heavily on AI-based technology. So hopefully it should help us to improve on the quality of leads that we are able to get, because that is like bread and butter for performance marketers, growth marketers like us.
Yes, spoken like a true marketer. Okay, I'll move further into the future. I hope, I know it may just be around the corner, you being the CMO someday, very, very soon. So if you were CMO today or maybe CMO tomorrow, and you have to build a team, who do you feel should be their first hire? And I've asked this question to a few people. Content people say content person, performance person says I'll ask performance marketer. But since you are still in a growth kind of a role, you've seen all sides of the story. You probably might be the best place to answer this. So who would be your first hire?
I think I'll hire a content person first, because I think content lays the foundation for running growth campaigns as well. If your content is not like, initially we talked about B2C versus B2B, and B2B is supposed to be very boring. It's boring because the content is boring, right? The channels are not very boring. Channels, we are still using new age channels like Insta, Meta, etc., whatever. So I think for me, my first hire would be content, because I feel content will lay that foundation for a good growth marketing campaign. For me, and I kind of growth marketing, so I can help to implement those campaigns with the help of content that is available.
Complementary side of talent you'll hire. Awesome. Okay, then last question before I let you go. I know it's been a while. It is something that I love, because it's probably the funnest part of the episode, where I ask one controversial opinion about marketing for you, growth marketing. You can consider one controversial opinion about growth marketing. And why is it controversial? Because it is true, or in your eyes it is true, but not a lot of people speak about it, or hesitate to speak about it. So one controversial opinion about growth marketing.
Say maybe like there could be a misconception that growth marketing is performance marketing, which is not actually true. Growth marketing actually caters to kind of like, entire go-to-market strategy for a product solution, and just, working side by side with the sales team and helping them to achieve their targets. So it caters to all kinds of marketing. It's not just like performance marketing or digital marketing. I, in my growth marketing role, look at all aspects, whether it's like PR, events, digital. So I think that could be one misconception about growth marketers.
Perfect. I love that answer. I expected nothing less from you. It is a great way to end the show as well. We are talking about what growth marketing is and what performance marketing is considered to be. But once again, thank you for coming over, Abhilasha. It was really lovely having you here. Hope to see you soon again on the show, talking something else, if not growth. But it was really a pleasure, and thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much.
And for all of us listening, I'll be back with the next episode very soon. Stay tuned. That's it for this episode on Ads and Tales. For more B2B marketing stories, insights, strategies, tactics, and views, keep listening to Ads and Tales. You can also check out the Ads and Tales newsletter to help you crack the code for B2B marketing. And if you need any help in solving any of your B2B marketing problems, check out admomenta.com. This is your host, Sid, signing off. This is Ads and Tales.